Someone tells you that you're beautiful. It could be a match on an app. It could be maybe someone that you've gone on like 3 or 4 dates with. It could literally be the person that you've been sleeping next to for the past decade. And in a half second before you can even catch it, your brain does this thing and it says, he's lying, or they're just being nice, or he hasn't seen me from this angle, or he hasn't seen me, wait until my clothes come off, or he means beautiful for someone at my size, or eventually they'll change their mind. But here is the thing. You're like 1 foot into this relationship and 1 foot out the door, and it has nothing to do with the commitment, the communication, or anything like that, right? It has to do with this critic in your head. The critic that continually tells you that you are not enough, that they think you're disgusting, that you've got to keep the lights off. And this could be male or female. I know I say he. If this is you, we're talking about how negative body image affects relationships. So welcome back to Dating Deja Vu. Well, welcome to Dating Deja Vu, the podcast where we talk about your patterns, your pitfalls, and personal growth in modern dating. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, marriage and family therapist and dating and relationship expert. If your dating and love life looks a lot of bit of the same, it might be deja vu, but it also might be you. So let's figure it out together. So we're talking about negative body image and how it affects your love life. This is so important. So yeah. And this is for people in whatever stage, whether you have been married for 11 years, whether you're 100 dates deep in the dating apps, good for you, or whether you swipe up on Instagram to download the dating apps, but then you close it out because you're wanting to lose the weight. This episode is for all of you. It's the same conversation. And that last one is something I hear from women because, as you guys know, not only do I have a private practice for dating and relationship therapy, but I also have a wellness practice. So some of you are hiding from relationships. Some of you are hiding by not being in one, of course. And some of you are somewhere in between. But here is the thing. You're like 1 foot into this relationship and 1 foot out the door, and it has nothing to do with the commitment, the communication, or anything like that, right? It has to do with this critic in your head. The critic that continually tells you that you are not enough, that they think you're disgusting, that you've got to keep the lights off. And today we're going to get into that because this critic is the third person in your relationship that's royally fucking up your intimacy, your romance, and your passion, and really your relationship with yourself. When you have negative body image, you're literally in a throuple. You can never be alone anymore because it's this kind of third person entity that's always there. It's the one that is constantly in your head with the commentary, the whole time. It's narrating your interactions from every angle, every roll, every dimple, every fold in your body, the one deciding on your behalf what your partner must be thinking about you, okay? Your inner critic is there on your first date when you order your food, right? You don't want them to think that, oh, you're, a cow. I'm saying that as your inner critic. I would never call you a cow. It's even there on your wedding, right? When you're first dance. It's there when you're chilling on the couch. It's there when the clothes come off. She's there in the morning when it's light out and the person rolls over and you kind of flinch or you cover up. This motherfucker is there all the time. And the tragic part is your partner is probably not thinking any of the things that your inner critic is telling you about yourself. They're probably thinking you smell good. They might not be thinking anything at all. They might be fucking hungry because, especially in men, they don't think a lot. But you're convincing yourself, right? And you don't hear that. You hear the critic. You respond to the critic, which means that you're not actually in a relationship with a partner or on a date with the partner or potential partner. You're in a relationship with your body image, and it is, this person is just in that setting with it. And I've had a client tell me that, over 11 years, I think it was, her and her husband he never saw her naked in the daylight. not once, right? And she built her entire marriage around managing what he saw in regards to her, like when he saw it, what angle he saw it from. And this is a very performative way to connect, right? It lacks that intimacy and trust, right? And you almost kind of create how someone is allowed to love on you, to see you, and so on. And I have other clients who've been on 20 dates this year, but 0 second dates because she was ghosting every single one of them. Because she, even though if she wanted to see the person again, right, eventually she knew that there would be a point where he'd have to see her uncovered. And that critic said, absolutely not. You are not ready for that, right? And then I have clients who have not dated for 6 years. They keep saying that I will lose the 15 pounds, the 20 pounds, the 100 pounds, whatever it is, and then I will start dating. Once the 15 pounds are gone, I can move better because the number is somehow this, or even the way that they feel, of course, not even the number, the way they feel in their body, they think no one else could possibly want to be with me because I look this way. So they won't even give themselves the chance to date. And these are 3 different women, 3 different, completely different love lives. But it's that same critic, right? It's that third person that keeps them caged in their relationship and doesn't allow for them to really connect, right? Most of us have had some version of her or him inside of us, right? Even the ones who are actively dating, even people who are married, right? The waiting room is this state we put ourselves in. For the women in my coaching program, a lot of them come to me because they're in the waiting room and they don't download the apps. They'll not accept people trying to set them up with someone else. They'll even avoid social settings where there's a potential of meeting someone. And they'll do this because they don't feel like they've earned the body that will qualify them to be good enough to be in a relationship. And it's incredibly sad. It's incredibly sad. But there's even women who are actually dating and women who are in relationships who are also in this waiting room. They're on the dates, right? But they're not available. They're not really available. They're in the marriage, but they're not really receiving from their partner. They're waiting for a future body. So once that arrives, they can build real intimacy with their partner. But until then, they're hedging, right? They're half in this shit. And they're managing what their partner sees from them. And what I want you guys to hear, which is incredibly important, is the version of you sitting in this waiting room is not living your life. You are auditioning for one that has no end date, right? This audition has no end date because every time you close, you get close to the number on the scale, the number moves, or every time that you feel confident, that critic just hits you in the face, right? And I've had client after client hit their goal weight and, think, okay, now I'm ready to date. But then even the body image part of it and that critic. So I've had clients hit their goal weight, right? And they feel really great, but then they'll get undressed with the lights on and they'll still deflect the compliments. Because what I need you guys to hear is the problem wasn't the 20 pounds. The problem was that there's a belief that your body has to earn access to someone loving you, right? It's a belief that never dissolves with a goal weight. I just talked about this on the Mindset Mirror Connection of how many clients I have who have body dysmorphia after losing weight. So if you want to hear more about that, go check out that episode, Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. This critic doesn't dissolve when the weight does. But meanwhile, you're missing out on your life. You're missing out on the years where you could be practicing being seen, practicing receiving. That's something we're talking a lot about lately. Practicing being touched, practicing being wanted, right? The woman you become at the goal weight is going to have 0 skills at intimacy. She is not practicing, right? She's been in the waiting room alone, right? Hating her body, watching everybody else live around her. And you can't become an available person by waiting to become a smaller person. Availability is where you need to practice, and you cannot practice when you're on the sidelines. You have to allow yourself to create intimacy. So I want to talk about 5 ways that body image or negative body image sabotages our relationships. And it's important for you to understand the specific patterns. So whether you're on the app, you're on date 14, or you're deep in a marriage, these show up everywhere. And the first one is obvious. It's dodging intimacy, right? Again, intimacy is also into me, you see, but intimacy is also exposure. This is where you start managing when, how, and under what conditions closeness happens in your life. Lights off, under the covers, certain positions only, never on top, because what happens to your stomach if you lean forward, or keeping your shirt on, or a bra on, or a blanket half covering you up. Dinner dates only, never brunch during the day, movies, never hikes, sleeping with him at night, leaving before breakfast, only meeting up in outfits that hide parts that you hate, and only taking photos from certain angles, wearing the same fucking clothes to every single date because you think that that's the only thing that looks good on you. You're calling it preference, and I do not call it preference. It's caging you in. Every time you dodge, you teach your nervous system that your body is something that you need to hide, right? You need to hide it even from the person that you have chosen to be there, right? That teaching compounds over time in every relationship, every date, every year. It gets harder and harder to undo. And that is not easy. I have a very good friend who has gained weight, and it's the compounding that I've seen makes me so sad. She used to be someone who took a lot of pride in her appearance. And granted, that's when she was a smaller size. However, I've told her many of times, like, you can dress for this body. Like, she's got great boobs, right? She's got great legs. Like, you can dress for this body, but it's beyond the body. It's the hair now. It's the face now. It's the everything. I don't even know. I don't ask about their sex life, but I'm also not being told about it either, right? Because I'm guessing it's non-existent. And that's not to say every person in a larger body has a non-existent sex life. Like, I have clients who are like, my sex life is great. I fucking love my body. I just know I need to be a bit healthier. And that's a totally different conversation. We're not talking about that person, right? It compounds over time, and it feels as if you can't come back from it, right? Oh, it's already 12:30. Yikes. So let's get pattern 2 is compliment deflection, which women already do that. Your partner says you're beautiful. You say, oh, stop, you're crazy. It's just the lighting. Or stupid, like, oh, I'm just really tired. You should see me without makeup, or blah, whatever. This stupid shit that we say. Every deflection is a rejection to your partner. And they want to compliment you. And when you refuse to receive what that person is offering, you're telling them that their perception is wrong, right? You're telling them that they cannot be trusted to see you accurately. And after enough of that, guess what happens? They're going to stop offering. It's not because they stop seeing you. It's because that person got tired of being wrong. And that reinforces your thoughts that they don't want you. Got it? It's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start shutting them down. They're going to be like, well, I guess I'll stop. And then you make up in your mind that the reason why they're no longer complimenting you is because they think you're disgusting. Again, these are words from your inner critic. Pattern number 3 is a preemptive rejection. This is so big. This is where you leave before the person can. We see this a lot with insecure attachments, right? Sometimes this looks like getting distance when things start getting good in your relationship, especially if you're heading towards sex. Sometimes this looks like getting in a huge fight with your partner before a vacation because you don't want to be in a bathing suit, right? Sometimes you just make up dumb shit in your head about, oh, this is a red flag that you couldn't name last week, right? It's just finding a good reason to shut everything down right before things start getting a little bit more handsy or hot and heavy. You're getting a bit more intimate, or even for some of you, it's before they say, I love you, right? Things are getting real, and getting real means that they have to see a version of you that you believe is unlovable. So you end it first on your terms with your dignity intact. You'd rather leave a good man than be left by one because your body is not good enough. But again, what happens with this is you decide that you're single because of your body, when really you're single because you keep shutting things down because you think that they don't want your body. Another self-fulfilling prophecy. Pattern number 4 is the body checking loop. I used to do this shit all the time. So you were at dinner, right? He's telling you a story, and in the middle of the story, you see or catch yourself in the reflection behind him or on the side of you, and you spend the next 4 minutes doing the math on how you look, how you're sitting, where the rolls are. Does your stomach look bigger than your boobs? Is your arm weird in that position? Like, should you be sucking in? Should you sit up straight, right? And now we're not even there with the person. You're on a date with your fucking reflection, and they're just like, you pick up on those vibes. And the same thing happens in bed. Mid-sex, you're not in your body. You're above your body. You're above your body, watching yourself and editing the footage in real time. And the partner's thinking like, what? This person is not connected, right? And your partner can pick up on that. And they might even ask you like, what are we doing here, right? And you're like, nothing, because it's too embarrassing, right? You are watching yourself and you're so in your head you can't even enjoy sex because you're not connected. It is not mindful. You're not in the moment. And that impacts that relationship. Presence is a currency in intimacy for sure. And body image stills it before you can spend that currency. And the problem is that this is why some of you have been physically close with people for years, but it feels like they're a stranger, or it feels very lonely because you were never actually there. And then number 5 is the anticipation of the loss. And we talk about this a lot in this podcast. It's this constant, like, low grade certainty that he's going to leave, not for a real reason, but because of your body, because you've decided ahead of him what he really sees, and he's going to go, whether it's after birth, it's after a medical condition, maybe just years, right, of slow weight gain. You believe that they're going to leave. And so you brace yourself, right? You don't fully invest. And like I said about my friend, it compounds and you just stop caring. And what happens is your partner fills that wall. The partner, can't name it, but he knows something's weird. Eventually he or she will start to back off too, because nobody wants to keep pouring into someone that won't receive from them. And when he pulls back, again, your brain says, see, I was right. I knew he would. You were right, babe, but you did it. You built it. I've seen so many relationships that, people's bodies change and their love lives are amazing, especially after children. That childbirth takes a toll on your body, and it's a beautiful thing. But if we have a really negative body image, and I talk a lot about this with the experts that I talk to on postpartum on the Mindset Mirror Connection, that after childbirth, your body image issues will just be, they'll be not exemplified. What's the word I'm looking for? Exacerbated. And so this is where we see a lot of moms try to have so much stress to bounce back, this, that, the other. We talk a lot about that over there. You think, oh, now, he's not going to find me attractive. He's not going to find me sexy. You know how many men have told me my wife's post-baby body is one of the sexiest bodies I've ever seen, because she brought, not only did she birth this child and was pregnant for 9 months, she feeds my child. Like it's a totally different connection to them that as a woman, we don't see. We just think of what society tells us that we need to bounce back. Right. And then you decide for them how they feel about your body. And then that's where the distance happens. And I think it's important, guys, to talk about it, right? So let's talk about that narrative, because your inner critic is a very unreliable narrative, right? And this is the work that needs to be done, because when you have negative body image, you have this toxic narrator of that decides every man's attraction of you. Everyone, whether it's a new match on an app, the third date, the husband of 15 years, that very toxic narrative decides. And you'll see it too. If you've been married for 15 years, you'll see how it played in every step of your relationship. And you can't trust your own assessment of what your partner thinks or what they see or what they feel about you. Okay. Your filter is broken. And when your filter is broken, you only see life through that filter. So every piece of evidence that your partner gives you gets rewritten through that filter. It's like if I, only had glasses on. I used to do this thing actually with my clients, I'll tell you guys, that had just negatives, like narratives. I'd have them write their narratives on these strips of paper, right? So their beliefs about themselves. And so the beliefs about themselves would be, I'd put them in glasses, literally. So I'd put them like, not really glasses, but like a blindfold over them. So we'd paste the strips together. So the negative was all that she saw. And then I'd walk around the office to like the office staff, or if we were in group, we'd walk around in the group and everyone would write something nice on the other side. And then I'd have them hold it in front of them. And I'd say, what do you see? They say, I only see the negative. I'm like, yeah, turn it over. This is what everyone else sees of you, but because you only see the negative, you'll never see that on the other side, right? And that's really important. It's important to remember. If someone matches with you, right, and you're dating, you think he must be swiping on everyone, right? If they ask you out again, you think he's just trying to get me in bed, right? He grabs you across the kitchen, you think, he's just horny, right? He doesn't care. If he initiates sex, that gets put into that category too. When he tells you you're gorgeous, you just think, oh, that's what he's supposed to say. He wants you naked and you think he'll change his mind once you are. It's like you're a ventriloquist and he's your puppet and you're just moving his mouth. But that hand, again, is that toxic narrative. There's no version of behavior that your body image will let you accept as a genuine attraction to you, because the belief underneath all of it is a real belief, right? That you are fundamentally wrong because the way that your body looks. And when a person believes that, there's no amount of external evidence that will crack it. You have to do the work. I've had single clients get 10 expressions of interest in 1 week, whatever it is, and still tell me that person doesn't like me. I've had married clients' husbands beg them, right? Literally beg them to believe that they are wanted. And the wife still deep down believes it's pity. She just believes it's pity. And this isn't a dating problem, you guys. This is a body image problem. And it's up to you to change it. You cannot fix it by finding a new partner, because no partner is going to compliment you enough, because you can't hear it. You cannot fix it even by losing weight, whether that's GLP-1s or surgeries, any of that. None of those things teach you how to handle the inner critic, because the inner critic isn't measuring your body. We'll call her she. She's measuring your fucking self-worth. And she's decided that the answer is you're not good enough. But we just associate that with the size of our bodies. And then obviously you can see how it affects everything. You can see how that critic beliefs dictate behaviors. And again, your behaviors could be all the things I've talked about: denying the compliment, denying the sex, this, that, the other. Those behaviors then create the outcomes that you don't want. A partner that pulls back, the date that, doesn't ask you on a second date because you're just so concerned with your body image. The fact that you stay single longer. The beliefs dictate behaviors, dictate outcomes. And those outcomes create emotions that make those beliefs stronger. And we have to get in front of that. So what do we actually do? Because I don't want you to just feel understood and be like, oh shit, that's me. I want you to be able to do something about it. And the first thing is, I want you to write out pattern. What are my beliefs about my body and my body in relationship to others? What beliefs do I think others believe about my body, especially in intimate settings? Then what behaviors have I engaged in or not engaged in that I could have engaged in to get closer to someone that I've done, right? What are the things that I've done? Sometimes when my husband tells me I look gorgeous, I don't believe him, even though I know I look gorgeous. So I don't know why. I think because he always says, you look gorgeous in that outfit. And I'm like, say something else, dude. So I don't really have a problem with this. It's just more like, bro, can we get a little more creative? Right. So that's my struggle. But write down the behaviors. Then I want you to write down the outcomes that you've had. Less sex, less connection, more resentment, not going out, not going on dates, feeling constantly lonely. And look at the pattern. Okay. I wasn't going to add that in here, but conversation went that way. Then what we're going to do is receive something a day, whether that's a compliment. Guess how we receive compliments, everyone? We say, thank you. No, but if, and, nope. Just thank you, right? If someone reaches for you or gives you a look, we're not deflecting. No counter. We're not qualifying it. Just thank you, right? Or receiving it. Let him in. Even if your body wants to squirm and jump out of your skin, just let them hold you. Let it land, okay? You're practicing being someone who can be seen, who can receive. And it might sound small, but the more practice you have, the more comfortable you get with it. Super simple, okay? Number 2 is we're going to name this motherfucker out loud. A part of my practice, we used to literally draw the inner critic. We need to name it. Who's running the commentary? Name it out loud if you can. Draw it if you can. Don't name it to your partner, to yourself, okay? There she is. There's Negative Nancy. There's Judge Judy. She's telling me this about my body right now. We want to externalize the narrative from who we are because we think it's how we think. We are not her. You are the woman that she's talking to. And once you can hear her as a voice that is distanced from you or separated from you, then you decide what you listen to. Super, super helpful. Super helpful. Next is try to stay in your body when we're getting close. I know that's hard, okay? When things get intimate and you notice yourself leaving your body, don't judge yourself, right? Just come back. Come back. If you start hearing yourself grade yourself or watch yourself from above, feel one physical sensation in your body. Maybe it's their hand, maybe it's the temperature in the room, the pressure of the mattress. Come back to your body and what it's feeling. Listen, there's a lot of nerve endings down there. Come back to that. That's where you should be paying attention to. And it's nice, right? The next is we're going to say the sentence out loud. So whoever is in front of you, whether it's a husband, a boyfriend, a guy you've been seeing for 6 weeks, whoever is close enough for you to warrant the honesty. I know. Hey, I want you to know that I'm working on something. I've had a hard time receiving compliments and I have a hard time being seen. And I want you to know it's not about you. It's something that I am working on in myself. And I think that you should know that. You would be fucking shocked what happens there. Most of the time, he's already kind of like, yeah, I knew something was off, right? And they're probably making it about them. Naming it gives everyone clarity. And it makes you an active participation in your own healing instead of this woman suffering in silence, expecting them to figure out what's going on. And then number 6, technically, is enroll in your own life. You gotta live. The waiting room, we don't exit. We're exiting it this week. We're saying goodbye. If you're not dating, download the app. Go on one date. Not when you're ready, now, in this body, this week. If you're in a relationship, do the thing you've been trying to manage. Whether it's having sex with the lights on, staying, in neutral light in the morning, wearing the outfit that you've been saving when you're in a smaller version of you, do it in this body. Do it this week. The skills that you need for the life you want are receiving, being seen, being touched, being chosen, being desired. They don't magically arrive when the weight's gone. We've already gone through this. They're built through practice, and you cannot practice if you're hiding. Okay? The woman that you want to be at the goal weight is not built at the goal weight. She's built right now. This is incredibly important. And she's built by the version of you who is brave enough to be seen in the body she is today. And what will happen is you'll start feeling more connected and more confident. You'll start realizing how amazing you are and how beautiful you are. And that goal weight kind of drizzles out. That's not to say that you won't lose weight, but it doesn't become as much of an issue because you're like, damn, I'm fucking hot now, right? So before I let you go, I want you to sit on this. If a beautiful, healthy, wanted version of you walked into the room, would you let her stay? Or would you spend the whole night trying to have her prove herself or prove that she doesn't belong there? That's what negative body image is doing to your love life. Whatever your love life looks like, you're already pushing that version out. The version of you right now is already worth being loved, being touched, being kept. She's already here. She's the woman on the dating app. She's the woman at the dinner table. She's the woman on the pillow next to him. Your critic just refuses her to be in the room. The work is letting yourself stay, even when it's uncomfortable, and telling the critic, sayonara, you cannot be in the room with us. I don't do thruples. And if you do thruples, it should be a human person, right? So that's it. That's the episode. If this one, got you in your feels, send it to a friend who always cancels the beach trips or isn't dating right now. You all know you have that friend because she thinks that she's going to wait till next year, to lose the weight. Send it to the one friend who's been in the same relationship for a decade, but still won't let him see her get dressed. Y'all, we got to let this go. And if you love this, I'd love for you to give me a 5-star rating and review on Apple iTunes. Hit that 5-star review on Spotify. And make sure you're following me wherever you're listening to this between your ears. And if you're watching my beautiful face, compliment to myself, on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I cannot tell you guys, it's one of the easiest things that you can do for this podcast that helps us get seen by others. But other than that, I'm going to leave you in the same way I always do, reminding you that it might be deja vu, but baby girl, it also might be you. Bye-bye.